Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what you missed.
With the International School of Advertising founder, Susan Makau, is in the house, part of ISA. She joins us. And also the winner.
Oh, yes.
The winner of the just concluded week of creatives. Teresa Makori joins us here. She's supposed to be with her, I guess, your partner Jeremy, who couldn't make it because it was teams of two, but you are here, and you know, it's incredible. Women rule the world.
Oh, yes.
Look at that, and I'm telling you guys. Susan, Teresa, karibuni.
Asante.
Women rule the world.
Yes, of course. Why not? Yeah. Too cool.
Congratulations. First of all, having an event like this in a year that was, that you have to be commended, first of all.
Yes, definitely. That was...
It was very gutsy and bold.
That was very bold. Very bold. Actually, even because this is the third year running that we have been running this event. Initially, we had decided we're not going to run it. And then you can imagine with COVID, everything just went into a panic. And we said, oh, apana hii, wachekai. Yeah.
And you had more than 200 entries.
But we had more than 200 entries. And by the way, let me just correct you. This event is called the A.P.A Week.
Oh, it's A.P.A Week.
So the A.P.A Week stands for the Advertising Practitioners Association. Yeah. And ISA is the implementing partner of the A.P.A Week. Okay. ISA is the International School of Advertising, which basically partners with the A.P.A as far as training and talent development for the industry goes. Okay.
And then Royal Media becomes your media partner.
And Royal Media, you know, together with Hot 96, Citizen, and Viewsasa have been our media partners for the past 3 years.
Fantastic. So Teresa Makori, what made you enter? I mean, obviously, you know, it's a tough year. You know, what made you get involved in this? Or were you just bored?
Oh, not at all. I think this was actually the second time I was entering. So I entered last year and didn't manage to win. So I managed to get the top 10. So when I heard it was happening this year, my boss, Max Guy, shared it on the WhatsApp group and just asked all of us to enter. And I was like, should I try again? But I was like, you know what? At the end of it all, it's just a really good experience because the last time was a really amazing experience, just being part of the room of all those creatives, all those young creatives, all that creative energy running around, and then also being able to be in a place where you are, you know, with the heavyweights of advertising as your mentors and your judges. I think at the end of it all, even if nothing came out of it, that was already an amazing experience for me. So I was like, I need to just go back again just to have that. And I guess the icing on the cake was we're able to win this time around.
So. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Susan,
Congratulations.
Yeah, Susan, so how did you break it down? The 24 teams of 2, right?
Yeah.
How did you break that down and what happened? Take us through that process.
Essentially, it was really a call for applications. But what we also tried to encourage this time around is people not to just see it as an advertising fraternity event, but more as an event for the creative industry. Okay. So, and the reason why that's happening is because advertising is really changing now, and we have seen that we are moving away from traditional platforms of just your typical television, radio, print into so many other components where the creative industry has to step in. So, so the call was for anyone who considers themselves creative. And so it was quite refreshing to see people like, for example, sound engineers, vloggers, content, filmmakers, people in content.
Any comedians?
I think there was a comedian who like.
No, we didn't hear about this. I'm hearing about it.
There were rappers.
Yeah, there were rappers.
Musicians.
So actually, you know, even the people who perhaps would even come out of a Churchill show, for example, are people like who can apply, because these are people who are creative. They are creative in their own right. Yeah, so I think that's what made it popular. So anybody could apply, and we were so excited about, you know, the diversity of people who did apply. And even in the final selection, we tried as much as possible not to just restrict ourselves to people who are within the advertising fraternity. All you needed to do is just showcase something that you have done that you believe is creative.
Okay.
So whether it was a short film, whether it's a song, whether it's a music you've composed, or whatever it is, or you know, an art that you've put together, that was the criteria.
And the other criteria is you have to be what, under 30 or was it under 35? What was it?
So because it's young creatives between 21 to 29.
Up until you
guys from there.
You have to work hard.
So Teresa, what was yours? What did you come up with? Because I hear, I mean, like Susan was saying, incredible the kind of things people were coming up with. What was yours?
Am I allowed to say?
Oh.
In terms of the final or in terms of the...
In terms of the final presentation.
Yeah, just broadly, top lines.
Top lines.
Too much.
Wow, those are advertising words.
I need to make sure I'm not in trouble when I walk out of this room.
You know, she can only talk about the top lines.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, okay, so maybe I can talk about a bit about the brief.
Okay.
And then how we approached it.
Right.
So basically the brief was on Johnny Walker. And so we were basically tasked with making it more relevant to the millennials. And so for us, when we found out it was Johnny Walker, first of all, we were so excited because it's such an exciting, colorful brand to work with. So I remember my art partner was just really excited to, you know, come up with concepts. And then, so the idea we went with was quite audacious. It was on, I don't think I can say like the actual idea, but it was very daring. And when we presented it to our mentor the first time, I kind of expected it to be shot down. She was like, full steam ahead, go for it. And I remember by the end of our presentation, there were no questions, and I was really worried. I was like, all right, we've lost people. In trauma, exactly. But at the end of the day, the feedback that we got was because it's what you were saying about throwing the box away. Exactly. And so I'm just really glad we were able to just really go with that bold idea, and it's something that we're really excited to be able to execute hopefully this year with our attachment.
Look, Vincent Kimani, you know him, he's our boss here, right? He alluded to the fact that he actually did tell us a bit about what you did. And the fact that you guys, these millennials, how do you come up with stuff like that? I mean, that's...
You know, the tradition.
Yes, there is tradition in advertising and copywriting.
This is how it works. It has worked this way since 1974.
You guys have come out completely different and bold and brash and confident. What is it about you guys?
I think it's more of, first of all, thank you. I'll say thank you for having millennials. I think it's about just being authentic to yourself and not going for, you know, what you feel would appease people, but going for things that you feel are more representative of you, and that might come out as bold, but it's just authentic.
Susan, are they being genuine, or are they just being different? Because, you know, traditionally, you don't go outside the lines, right? You stick to the lines. But these people
have no lines in the first place.
It's true.
What is it?
I think it's both. I think it's a combination, as you say, of being different and being genuine. And that's actually what the industry is really looking for. Because let me tell you, even the reason why EABL have approached us as APA and ISA to work on these briefs is because these are probably, you know, there are a lot of similar briefs that have gone to your agency, your typical agency who works with guidelines, who works with, you know, as you say, straight and narrow. And, you know, client is like, this doesn't look like it's working. There's something missing
Tried
here.
this many times, it
There's
doesn't.
something missing here, and because you're dealing with people who probably are already so constrained in the way they are used to working. That's the way they have done it for many years. And they're probably also not the age group that you're targeting.
Yeah. You mentioned Johnny Walker, so we might as well continue with
Yeah,
it.
let's go with Johnny Walker. I'm happy with
Yes. It's not your kind of brand. I'm saying you, as in your millennials. You're not into that. It's considered an older person's, right?
Yeah.
How did that appeal to you guys? How were you able to literally crack it?
Well, it's actually what you said, that and that was the problem, that it was seen as an old, 40-year-old man who, drives a Benz, so when you see a black label on the table, unajua kuna mzito hapo. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. At least from yeah, that those people have got bank. And so, but you're looking at people who are earning about like 30,000, people who when you're going to drink, you're changaing so that you can get that boutique.
Correct.
Yeah. And so how do you make people who those are the kind of drinking behaviors that they have, and that's how they consume alcohol, to want to purchase or even connect to a brand that feels very top shelf. And so what we did is we brought it back down to earth, and we basically invited the millennials to co-create with us, and tell us what. I feel like I'm going into the idea a bit more, but basically what we did is bring it more back down to earth. It was seen as a top shelf, remove it from the top shelf, bring it down to earth.
Susan, I guess what we're trying to say here is aspiration, right? Everybody wants to aspire to be that guy who's walking, Johnny who's walking.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what it is?
So I guess it's understanding the behavior of your millennials and making things work for already what they're into.
Where they are.
Where they are.
Go where they are.
Exactly.
But Susan, are these millennials, are they buying?
Are they buying?
Who's
they
the
have
buying
the power?
Yeah, who's the buying power?
Oh, they are. Apparently they are. In fact, when it comes to especially certain categories, top of it apparently is the mobile phones and fashion.
Okay.
I mean, there are certain categories where millennials are really the ones who are holding the purchasing power. And maybe it's not so much about the unit price that they're paying, but the numbers.
The volume.
Yeah? I mean, we know that 75% of our population are now youth.
Correct.
Yeah?
Correct.
So it's really about the numbers and other than the value. Yeah. So definitely there's that. And I think, even just from a marketing perspective, there's always that notion that you should always be considering your emerging target audience.
Tell us about Mindbenders, Teresa.
Yeah.
What is Mindbenders?
So as I think I was telling you guys earlier, Mindbenders was you're asking about the name of the team, how that came up.
Yes.
Okay, so myself and my team member Jeremy Mwangi, an amazing art director, we sat down and we're like, all right, so what's our name? And he was like, Mindbenders. And it's, if you've watched anime, I don't know if you guys have watched anime, The Last Airbender.
Yes.
The waterbenders. So we called ourselves the Mindbenders because we wanted to bend the minds of the audience and the judges with our audacious ideas. So that's where Mindbenders came from.
Bend with it.
And bend it all the way.
Keep moving
So
on.
are we obsolete, Susan, the rest of us? Are we obsolete?
I think there's still a role to play, because what's happening also is, as I said, the creative fraternity is now really part of building brands. It's not the way we saw it before. So whether you're a rapper, as you've said, you're a filmmaker, or you're even just that photographer there's actually a role that you can play in terms of collaborating with brands. Yeah. So the role of the older ones would really be to provide the strategic direction. Okay, because if you think of art in its raw form, it's really art. Yeah, it's a picture on the wall, it's a nice sculpture somewhere out there. But the question is, how can you connect that with business, yeah, which is a brand, so that both of you can benefit, yeah. The business is able to connect better with their consumer, and this artist is able to monetize their talent better. Yeah.
So there's a cash prize, of course, and then an attachment, right? Well done. Tell us about that.
Okay, so we were able to get 100,000 as the winning group. The second and the third also got cash prizes, and we also were able to be given the opportunity to have an attachment at the EABL offices. So that should be starting in Q1.
Congratulations. So Susan, tell us about the other entries. What were they like? Because, you know, we heard about Mindbenders, and Teresa can only tell us so much.
Yeah.
What were the other ones like?
Actually, I think the overall quality of the entries was really good. Was really good. I sat through all the presentations and was quite awed with all of them. I mean, some of them were so interesting. They were just, I remember there was one group of guys, and what they did is just rap.
We rapped
Throughout.
They gave us a show.
And they were the top 10. In fact, I think they came number 4.
They were number 4.
Yeah,
they were amazing.
I mean, they had an idea. They actually did have an idea. And that's probably, I'll actually tell you that EABL actually want to still retain all the 10 ideas of the top 10 teams, because they felt that they were all very rich. And there's still something that could be done with.
Absolutely. Teresa, you're a copywriter, right? So this is what you do. I mean, this is
your area.
this is your thing.
Yeah, this is my thing. It had always been my thing. I didn't study copywriting, but I'm really glad I fell into it. I did molecular biology, but I always wanted to be...
Molecular biology.
Cellular and molecular biology. Just idea. Biology basi.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself here?
Yeah.
No, I'd always loved writing. I'd always been a writer at heart, but I never really had that that representation of somebody who was a writer who wrote like me, and you know, as a young person, seeing them, you know, thriving and making a living. And so of course that's not like the career choice that you make. I used to think that it would just be like a hobby, but then in 4th year I just made the choice to just jump and try it out and see what's out there. I didn't even know about the advertising agency until I decided I'm gonna follow writing. So yeah, I started about 4 years ago, pursuing copywriting, and yeah, this is where I am right now.
You know, when KRA jumps in and imposes a digital tax,
Yes.
right? Starting this past week, it was this week, right?
Today.
Digital service
Effective
tax.
1st
January.
Yeah.
When they do that, Susan, what does that tell you about what the internet has done in this country, or how people have used the internet? Because advertising has changed forever.
It has changed.
People don't go to TV stations or radio stations and say, "Hey, man, here."
Yeah. And
Right?
you know, you've seen how people are now making a lot of money. I mean, let's not even restrict ourselves to what's going on in this country. We've seen what's going on even in other developed markets. I mean, you see young people, they're earning, you know, the dollars on a daily basis.
They're
So
selling
yes.
lipstick or so other products.
Or even just funny things like just showing what you do. So yes, it is becoming a very important source of revenue.
Yeah.
A huge source of revenue.
And it's changed advertising forever.
And it's changed advertising forever. Actually, I think anybody right now, as you know, you were saying, I'm talking about the gazettes, we do know that market, you know, even the readership of newspapers has declined. Actually, I think newspapers are the most hard hit. The newspaper industry is the most hard hit right now. I know in Kenya, radio is still doing pretty well, and maybe it's because of the penetration of electricity or internet hasn't quite gone to the extent that it should. But once it does, then you're going to find even a traditional platform like radio is going to start being affected.
All right, so look into the future for us, young lady. Look into the future. What do you see?
In terms of what?
Advertising, in terms of this field, in terms
Consumption
of where
of
we're
content.
going. Yes.
Where are we going?
I would say that it's what she said, like how we're having so many people becoming their own creators, and it's putting a focus on them and seeing how you can leverage and how you can support content creators, because all eyes are on them, and if you want to market, you need to go where the eyes are at. And it's also creating that content, what you're saying, that local content or content that connects with people. So yeah, I feel like content is king in the future. Be it from the content creators or be it from the brands themselves, content is king. Yeah.
Susan, a lot of people are very reluctant, especially our generation, to get into Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
And TikTok. But you are in TikTok. I saw you in TikTok.
It wasn't me. But we were very reluctant.
Yeah.
But now we have no choice. There's no choice.
We actually just don't have a choice. I mean, I think for me, one of my New Year's resolutions is just, you know what? I just better get into this. I better be part of it, because you see, from where I sit, I've just been looking at it and yeah, that's happening there, that's happening there. You're pointing a finger, it's there.
Yeah.
No, now we just have to be a part of it, because that's the only way we are going to fully understand what it is that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's also how we, as the older people in this space, then can also help to build and grow the younger generation. Yeah, because they, as I said, I think then they are raw material. Yeah. So they're doing it. They're very creative. They're the ones who are consuming. We can see media consumption has completely changed and all. But this is a lot of raw data that's kind of sitting there with us.
Do you see yourself in Teresa? Do you see 10 years ago? 50? Do you see yourself?
20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, but with that father there, I was telling you. Ate, what is that?
So the difference is the boldness now. The difference is...
Yeah, and also I think the environment now, these guys are not essentially, so there was this declaration that the creative industry is actually contributing to 30% of employment globally.
1/3 of 7 billion people.
Yeah, 30%, contributing 30% to employment, and the bulk of it are the youth. And if you just look at the youth segment, the creative industry is actually the biggest employer. Okay, it may not be your formal employment, but that's where it is. So it's how can we make the creative industry sustainable? Exactly. Okay, that's a big agenda.
Yes.
And the other agenda that I think is very important is how can women especially be part of it, because it's a very male-dominated industry, especially in advertising. Yeah. So people like Teresa, for example, you will find that, because I've been in advertising for about 20 years or so.
Wow.
Before I left. But what the trend was, or the practice was, is that young people would join, and at a certain level, they just drop off. Yeah, I'm talking about women. Yeah, they just drop off. Why? Because they start to raise their families and all that. So advertising does not augur well for somebody who's trying to bring up a family. It's a very, very demanding, very stressful industry. But that's what now we have to look at. How can the industry be more sustainable? Why does it have to be so stressful? Yeah. Why is it not possible to still have work-life balance in this industry? Yeah.
Well, that was one of the silver linings of Corona, I guess. Huh?
Yes.
Exactly. That was a huge silver lining.
Absolutely.
So I think that's just a huge opportunity for women. Now, finally, you can work from home and still take care of your babies.
Absolutely.
So we are looking forward to Teresa
becoming
our next creative director.
There you go. Look at that. Endorsement in the studio. I'd ask Susan for her details. Now, you, of course, it's only fair that we ask you your social media handles, just in case anyone wants to get in touch and learn copywriting and or more about the APA.
So my social media handles are Nyamorambo Terry. Do I need to spell that? It's a bit difficult. Nyamorambo, just how you say it. Yeah, Nyamorambo Terry. My writing page is Reluctant Fingers. And I currently work at Isobar. I actually just got a promotion to Associate Creative Director.
Oh my goodness. Susan, you saw it coming.
Yeah,
she did. You said that and I was just smiling because, Yeah, so thank you for creating such a platform where creatives can be able to just really learn a lot and open their minds. Yeah, it was a good way to end the year.
Fantastic.